Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wytpod. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Lenses at Wytlabs. We are a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce SEO. I've got Autumne Peth with me today. She's the head of marketing at Sales, an authentic AI for basically sales on autopilot. So, big welcome to you, Autumne. So happy to have you with me today.
So happy to be here and good morning to you. It's exciting way to start my day.
Brilliant. Now, Autumn, can you please start with your journey in the field of marketing and what really led to your current role as head of marketing at Sales?
Yeah, I started my career in sales actually. And while I enjoyed it and did fairly well, it just wasn't my passion. And so ultimately, went into working at a really small agency and just have built my career over there. Really found my passion in marketing. I love the creative side of marketing as well as the analytics. And so I've worked at a few different organizations ranging in size from 8 people to 15,000 people. And what led me to sales was my deep belief in the product and that I would be a customer of sales platform. And I wanted to be a part of what they were building.
All right. And what are some of the key milestones in your career that really shaped your approach to marketing?
Yeah, I think I touched on that a little bit. So that transition from sales to marketing for me was really critical. I made a decision after getting my master's degree that that was the path I wanted to take. Luckily, there was a small agency in Columbia, Maryland called Way Better Marketing, founded by two owners, and they were willing to take a chance on me, someone who had very little marketing experience, but they saw an opportunity and they really taught me the ropes. I learned a little bit about everything. I think that was such a changing moment for me because I grew a love of writing email, learning marketing automation, campaign development, and the analytics side of things. I even learned a lot about making mistakes in marketing. I made a really big mistake on one of our big clients, and it's one of those things that have always stuck with me. But they were just such a great organization, very, very great to learn from. And that really set me up for marketing leadership roles. And from there, I went into a few different leadership roles where I was able to build teams. I would say I was able to build and scale teams at a few different organizations. And those have been such key milestones for me, learning from each of those scaling experiences, whether it was building from a startup, building a new line of business, or going through different M&A activity. There's always something to be learned. I would say most recently, a key milestone was working at RX Benefit, having one of the larger teams that I've ever been able to lead, but also working for a tremendous leader there who I feel helped to grow me so much in just 3 years. She is an incredible marketer and really creative. And I felt her skill sets really balanced mine and helped me to grow in areas that I was really deficit.
What are some of the core values or messages that you aim to communicate through, your sales AI's marketing efforts?
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about sales, is that they are very differentiated in the market with their messaging. And really, it's around three things: it's authenticity, the digital labor, and being personality driven. And so, authenticity, it's that AI that is really authentic. I think we see tons of AI companies popping up today. And are they trustworthy? Are they authentic? Are they credible? And that's one thing that sales really has. They've been in the space for quite a long time, since 2018, and it's really not a one size fits all product. It's focused on how AI enables us to be more human, to be more authentically ourselves, and it's not about replacing that human element, which I think is really a great message and helps to differentiate us. The second one is digital labor. So SailBots, of course, deliver leads. I think that's table stakes at this point in the space. But we take it even further with that fully autonomous delivery, the entire process from sourcing the data, enriching the data, creating the campaigns, and executing that digital labor every step along the way to offload some of those manual tasks from sales teams so they can focus on being more authentic and being more human. And then I think the third part is that it's personality driven. It
Yeah.
is unique to each person. And so I think we see a lot of bots on the market that is a singular bot that applies to every single salesperson. But sale bots are unique to each person. I actually launched my own SailBot last week for the first time, and it was really interesting to see how it will learn my personality and my way of speaking over time. And so the way my SailBot speaks is very different than any other SailBot speaks. That is so unique and really interesting in the AI space. And it's one of my favorite messages and stories we have to tell.
Right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what role does personalization play in sales approach to basically AI-driven prospecting? And how do you ensure that your campaigns basically remain engaging?
Yeah, so obviously, personalization is key to any campaign in prospecting and in marketing. And so we do have all of the personalization abilities, right? The different custom tags. But I think that's where sales goes one step further with that personality driven AI, in that it is truly not only personalized to the prospect and pulling in their information, but it's also personalized to the user. I've never used a marketing product or a sales product that personalizes it to me as the user
Mhm.
and my style. And so I think that is where AI can take personalization even further than we ever imagined.
No, I agree. And any specific challenges that you have faced, specifically to your marketing, in this, niche space of yours, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, there's always skepticism around change and technology. We've seen this play out several times. I think back to Y2K, and the whole world was in a frenzy around what is going to happen when the clock changes on New Year's Eve. More recently, I think we've seen a lot of skepticism around self-driving cars and electric cars. So there's always that fear of the unknown, that fear of change in technology. But what I think ultimately happens is that we need to communicate the value of technology and how it actually enables us to live better lives. There's also that element we talked about before where there's new competitors and players in the space cropping up. It feels daily to me. I'm sure it's not daily, but they all have varying credibility and product efficacy. And so it's really important for us to differentiate ourselves as more well established. We've been in the space since 2018, really before the AI frenzy even started, and ensuring that we can lean on our proof points. We have great case studies. We're not somebody who's only been in the space for 2 years. And I think overcoming that skepticism, establishing credibility is really important in a space that is ever evolving, really on a daily basis.
Gotcha. And if we talk about the winning channels for you when it comes to your demand gen and lead gen altogether, what are those?
Yeah. So I recently joined the organization in 2024, and this year has been really tough. We're in an election year in the United States. Media is very expensive. There's also a lot of competing for people's attention. And so figuring out what channels are going to be most effective for us, and playing in those channels. And so we've had to get really agile in making tests, making quick decisions. That is one wonderful thing about working for a startup or a smaller organization is you have the autonomy to make very quick decisions when things aren't working. One challenge though is it's taking us a lot of touches. It takes a lot of touches in this space to reach the conversion. Last week, I was doing an analysis of some recent conversions, and for a few of our leads, it's taking 40 to 60 impressions before they're actually converting on the site.
Yeah.
And when you think about that cost per impression, that adds up over time. And that's over a 45-day period
Mhm.
and 3 to 5 website visits that they're having each, right? It's over 3 different platforms that we're running ads. So it's ensuring that we're in the right places, that we're diversified enough, that we're hitting them that 50 times
Yeah.
and keeping them coming back until they're ready to make that decision. Also ensuring that we have great educational content that's high quality that makes them want to come back and eventually convert.
All right. And what channels have been like fruitful for you to achieve these results? Like, is it your SEO is working well for you, or you're leveraging more of the paid channels well? Uh,
Yeah, when I started the organization, it was much heavier on paid channels as a proportion of total effort. I would say we have done a really great job of starting to balance organic and paid. And I think that's more of a long-term strategy, ensuring that we are not only focused in the paid channels, that is a requirement as you're building your brand, making sure that we are continually looking at those every week, which ones are making the most sense for us and bringing the most opportunity for us. If they're not, let's reallocate some funds to a different channel, but also balancing our time with building content, building organic channels, really focusing on SEO. I think as we become more and more mature, ensuring organic is a healthy portion of our traffic is going to be incredibly important.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And what metrics or KPIs do you prioritize when you're accessing, basically the success for your own marketing campaigns?
Yeah. I mean, at our stage, we are really focused on getting our product and message in front of as many sales and marketing leaders as possible. Obviously, I am constantly looking at demo requests, right? But as I mentioned before, organic growing is a percent of our total traffic. Also, what do website conversions look like? How much of our traffic are we actually converting to
Uh-huh.
leads? How many touches is it taking for us to get to a single conversion? What's our cost per lead spend and how is that differing across channels? Those are all things that are really important for us, and understanding that we are using our marketing dollars in the right place to get maximize ROI. I think a lot of time marketers just go straight to paid channels. Let's put as much money behind paid channels as we can and drive leads. But I think it's really important that we're balancing that and looking at not only where we're putting our marketing spend as a KPI, but also our marketing time as a KPI, because time is a resource just like our financial dollars.
Yeah. And how's the churn rate, ad sales, and any specific strategies that you have in place uh, to basically, just have a better customer retention?
Yeah, we have really strong customer retention. We recently hired a head of client success, and she has been really great in driving that. And she's been a really great partner to both sales and marketing in the organization. Really dedicated. We are a customer first organization, very focused on our customers. And so when we look at our churn numbers, I feel really confident our customers are experiencing positive ROI. They're getting really high quality leads. And so we don't experience aggressive churn. We don't have very high churn because once someone's here and they've built the platform out, it is highly tailored to their ICP. It is highly tailored to their value prop. And so they are now starting to see those leads come in regularly. There's very strong ROI, not only from the digital labor, but also from the leads that they're getting into the pipeline.
All right. And I would love to know, like, how do you balance the need for, automation as well as, with the human touch within your organization, and specifically for your marketing operations?
Yeah. So human AI collaboration is core to the sales message from a marketing standpoint and product standpoint. It's also core to our philosophy as a company. We are a very people first company, and I leverage AI and automation a lot in what we're doing from a marketing standpoint, more so on the front end and ideation. We want to make sure that what we're putting out is authentic, that's core to our brand, but using it to help with those idea starters, those initial outlines, what types of topics are trending. I do see in the future us using it more for analytics around messaging, what messaging is performing better and what content is performing better. But for today, it's more of those early stage discussions. And then we're using our internal thought leadership to take it over the finish line.
Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned thought leadership. How much do you prioritize that, for your company? And yeah, like who all are the key speakers from the company and what events do you participate? Would love to understand that process a bit.
So I am a major advocate for thought leadership. I think it is one of the biggest things a company can lean on because your people and their expertise are really at the core of what the company does. One wonderful thing about sales is we were founded by a deeply experienced, very successful sales leader, Nick Smith, and he built the product because he was a salesperson and he recognized this was a problem salespeople are facing, and he just wanted to solve it for himself. And so he is a wonderful thought leader. He has a deep expertise in the space. He's been in the shoes of our customers and knows the problems they face. We also have very deep experience in our head of success and our head of sales teams, as well as our engineering teams. Some of our machine learning and our engineering experts, they really understand the space deeply. Those are the people I lean on to better understand what we're doing in the space and what our customers are facing. I would love to see us dive a little more deeply into thought leadership in the next few months. I think they have a lot to say and they're very compelling in some of their messaging.
All right. And I believe that another brilliant strategy, which most of the companies underrate, is community marketing. I would love to know your opinion, around it, and if you are leveraging it, how do you do it?
So I have leveraged community marketing in the past. I agree. I think it's a great path, especially for thought leadership, creating and curating your own communities, but also getting involved in the communities that exist. I'm seeing a lot of activity in Reddit.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing a lot of marketers really leaning into that. I also see a lot of signals that Reddit's leaning and investing more into their advertising platform. So I'll be really interested to follow that in the upcoming months. That's an area where it's a very organic community and it's a user driven. Last week, I read an article, I believe it was in Forbes, around search become or social becoming the new search. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot with like the LinkedIn community groups, the Reddit community. And we have done a little bit of testing around that. I think there's an opportunity for us, but at Arc's Benefits, they actually had developed some really strong communities. And I think, especially where it's a very niche market or a lot of expertise is needed in that space, there's a lot of need for thought leaders who are willing to be vocal. I think sometimes people are hesitant to share their voice, but each person has a lot to say. And if you've been in the space for a long time, sharing your knowledge, sharing your information, and being a conversation starter is such a great way to build just your space and your industry. There's a few sales and marketing people I follow on LinkedIn, and I learn more from them and just following the communities they've built than I did in college or post grad work.
I agree. Right. How do you see the role of AI evolving in sales and marketing over the say next 5 years?
I think we've at this point in sales and marketing, we've mastered content development or content ideation in AI. And so I think that was the first phase. I think where we're going to start to see marketers leaning more and really sales teams leaning more into AI is predictive analytics, looking to do more modeling with AI, some of those elements. I also think around messaging, right? Seeing what's resonated in the space, and instead of going and doing messaging testing, which can be very costly, leaning on AI to do some of that initial testing messaging against each other, leveraging an AI model, and then going to market with which one. I would love to see an AI platform that can really help to leverage some of that. And I'd love to test it. Um, those are really some of the areas that I have found quite interesting. I think Search GPT is going to really shake things up for everyone. Google has really had a stronghold on search. That has been what everyone has leaned on. I think Search GPT has an opportunity to really disrupt the way we've done things.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fear around AI when it first came out, and I think marketers quickly realized this is a beneficial tool for us.
Mhm.
I think Search GPT is going to be the next thing that you are going to have to learn to maintain relevancy in this space.
No, I agree. I mean, and the good thing is that, now people have started to take things seriously as well because they see that, there has been like a massive shift on the way people search,
Mhm.
more and more leveraging Gen AI as well. So, yeah, I mean, generative engine optimization, that's the new thing, basically. And I'm sure
Yeah,
like a lot of marketing agencies, brands, everyone will gonna learn about it. So although it's like early days, but still like, tons of tests running and just to figure out like what all factors are, responsible to give you that level of exposure, give you that visibility on AI driven search engines altogether. So
completely agree. It'll definitely be a game changer. We'll have to see how it plays out.
yeah, I think that's the biggest shift that's happening. So yeah. Right. How do you plan to adopt, sales marketing strategy to stay ahead of industry changes and basically continue driving more growth to the company?
Yeah, I'm in a very great position in that we have a lot of autonomy in our organization. There's a lot of trust. I think Nick has done a great job of hiring leaders that he can trust. So we have the ability to be very agile and scrappy. That means we can revisit our strategy every couple weeks, every month if we have to. And so what I plan to continue to do is, look at what's working and what's not and adapt to the competition in the space, adapt to how things are shifting and the demands of our audience. What I really lean heavily on is what are we hearing from our customers and what are we hearing from our prospects? That's really what's going to guide where we go. We've got to be customer led because that is who really feeds us. That's who we're here to serve. That is how I plan to continue to adapt, is really staying close to that customer, hearing what they need, hearing what they're looking for, and making sure we're meeting them in the spaces where they are.
Okay, and since Autumn, you mentioned that hearing your customer is something which is vital for you. What that process looks like, what checkpoints do you have within your site, within your platform, so that there's a good feedback loop altogether for you, and you're like taking action onto things that your customers want.
So we have a very high touch customer success model. Each customer gets a dedicated customer success manager. We get a lot of feedback from that team. So they're passing along everything they're hearing from customers directly to the sales and marketing teams, to our product teams, so that we can all react very quickly on behalf of our customer. We're also doing the other things, G2 reviews, NPS scores, right? Collecting those more analytical, quantitative touch points. But it's really about having a customer council, hearing from our customers, listening to phone conversations so that I'm hearing directly from them. What are the types of things they're looking for? What are their pain points, or what are their pain points that they perceive to have? And so how can our product continue to meet that for them?
Awesome. All right, Autumn, we're coming to an end now, and I would love to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Hi. What's your last Gen AI prompt?
Oh, my last gen AI prompt was probably a lemonade recipes because my daughter is having a lemonade bar at her upcoming birthday party. So I think I said Taylor Swift. What are some Taylor Swift themed lemonades?
Okay. Alright. There's
Not
a-
marketing
actually,
related.
there's actually a crazy video that I think ASAP Rocky launched. It's called Taylor Swift. And I think that's the most bizarre video I've ever seen, basically.
We'll have to look at it because we're gearing up for a big Taylor Swift event.
Right. I mean, it has got nothing to do with Taylor Swift. This is the name of the song is
Oh,
Taylor Swift. Yeah. So, all right. So, all right. Now, if you have, like, oh, okay, let me just rephrase this. If you have an unlimited budget, for one campaign, what would you do with it?
I would find an amazing spokesperson
All right.
and do like a really interesting video push to some of our top targets, or have them maybe visit some of our top targets in their office and do like a pop-up event for them.
That's amazing. Okay, what's the most what's the most unexpected lesson that you have learned from a failed campaign?
The most unexpected lesson was I forgot to reset the space when I was testing a campaign. So I set the triggers to all be 1 minute apart. So my entire list received a 6-month campaign in 30 minutes. And the response rate was way beyond any campaign we'd ever had because everyone responded that they had received so many messages. And we were actually able to get more opportunities out of that campaign than we've ever, which was pretty exciting and unexpected.
It's amazing. Like, what's the most bizarre marketing campaign that you have ever seen work brilliantly well?
Most bizarre that I've ever seen work. So referring back to my last Arts benefits, Kira Hagan at an organization she worked at, they had mailed trees in these like glass capsules, and it was something about growth and growing with you, and the trees all broke in the mail processing, and
Yes.
so everyone had received these trees that had crumbled. Again, great response rate because everyone called to say that their trees were broken. But I thought that was a really neat thing to do is send something that could be planted. You don't think about when you receive something in the mail, receiving a living thing or something that can be grown. I thought that was a really neat and interesting take.
All right. Now, coming to our very last question. If you could use only one social media for the rest of your life, and this is for your personal use, nothing business related,
Okay.
which would it be?
No questions asked TikTok. I absolutely love TikTok. And I think we are going to see it continue to grow. I think we're seeing the demographic shift on it, and we're seeing a lot more B2B activity. And I'm excited to see where that heads.
All right. Thank you so much, Autumn. Really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for taking the time out for this and sharing your brilliant experiences with us today. Really appreciate it.
It was great talking to you and a great way to start my day.